What's up? This is Joe from Knuckle Puck.
Hey, this is AJ from the Daner Summer.
Hello, this is John Cornelius O'Callahan from the Maine, and you're listening to the Play Sound.
And you're listening to the Play Sound.
And you are listening to the Play Sound Podcast.
Play Sound Podcast.
Welcome to the Play Sound Podcast, your one-stop dweeb shop for music, games, movies, and more. Here are your spicy hosts, Joe and Chris.
Welcome back to the Play Sound Podcast, everybody. It's 2025.
Hello.
Chris, how are you doing?
I am peachy. I have been up since 7:30 a.m., which is
my God.
a long time for me.
Yeah. Well, we are your hosts. My name is Joe. I guess Play Sounds. Chris, what's your name?
My name is Chris. You can find me in a lot of places under CJ Darkangelo if you're interested.
And I think I'm pretty much either Most Likely Joe or Best Plot everywhere. I'm having a little bit of a brand identity crisis, Chris.
I've been having an identity crisis for a long time, so I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like I'm doing all of these things. We're doing the podcast, and then I'm starting like a Pokemon Instagram, and I'm starting a like playlisting company type thing, and I'm starting to code an app. And like doing all of these things, and I just want to do it all under one thing, and I don't know what to call it.
Call it one thing.
One thing.
It's like One Piece, but it's not pieces, it's things.
It's like Linkin Park. One thing.
It's like
don't know why.
It doesn't even matter how hard you try.
But yeah, I'm like trying to figure this out. And I don't know. It might be Best Plot. It might be Most Likely Joe. I like Second Chance Media or like Second Chance Records, something like that, just because.
Okay,
it's cool. What would you call me if you were me? What would you do?
Ooh, okay. I'm really I can do this just off the top of my head. What would I call you? You're a global global enterprise machine.
Okay.
GPM for short.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, that's GEM.
I hate that.
Gem.
Thanks for trying.
I'm so tired.
Thanks, but no thanks.
That wasn't in the script. I can't do anything unless it's on the cue cards.
Oh my God. Okay. Welcome back. We're here. Look at us. Look at us. I feel like we tried to do this last year a couple of times, like twice, literally a couple, and it just didn't. Nothing ever came of it. Like I don't even think we posted the podcast that we recorded because we couldn't figure out how to make it sound good.
Nope.
No.
But this time's gonna be different.
This time's gonna be different.
Because we got our pal Craig in the recording booth. Everybody say hello to Craig.
Yeah, Craig, our producer. Producer Craig. No, we have this bot that like records our Discord conversations. And,
he's a bear.
He's a bear. Oh, is he a bear?
And also a bot.
I thought he looks kind of like a raccoon, almost.
Wait, really?
I don't know. I mean, he's bear colored, but raccoon coated.
He's a bacoon.
Oh my God. I don't know. We just invented an animal.
I feel like that sounds like a bad word.
Play Sound Podcast inventing swear words to start 2025.
Kids, do not say that around your parents at home. They will be a little suspicious.
I'm going to write this as an idea for the next podcast, that we invent swear words, because I think we'd be so good at that.
I'm here for it.
It's such a good idea.
I shout stuff all the time that's like meant to be swear words because I've just run out of swear words to use.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will work.
Well, Chris, what have you been up to? I have a couple of notes here in the podcast notes about things that you've been up to, and they're both kind of ridiculous, so I want to hear about them.
Let me see. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Right on. So Chris has a problem with advanced shipping.
Yeah.
I'm Chris, and I have a problem with advanced shipping. Right. So
Hi,
here's my problem with. Hey, Chris.
Welcome to the meeting.
Yeah, so here's my problem with advanced shipping. I have the talking stick. No, I just look. I ordered something the other. The wet sock. That's my new. That's that's the new name for your brand, Wet Socks.
Oh my god, wet sock. Okay, all right. We'll play with it. We'll workshop that. I'm writing that down.
It has to be plural because it sounds like it doesn't have to be, but it sounds like White Sox or like Red Sox, like a team name almost, but it's Wet Sox.
The Wet Sox.
Wet Sox. But yeah, no, I ordered something from Best Buy. Well, I'm not afraid to name names here or name drop.
Yeah, name
I ordered
names.
something. I ordered something from Best Buy here, just to paint everyone a picture.
Yeah.
It was a video game. I wanted it. I ordered it last Wednesday. And I was under the impression I was paying like $11 for what I guess probably overnight shipping. So I ordered it Wednesday night. It was supposed to get here Friday, roughly in the afternoon, and then I didn't get it till Monday at night.
Oh my!
Like basically 6:30 or 7, and it's like,
yeah.
Okay, look here. So basically I paid an extra $11 on my for my $60 game, so because I wanted it.
What game was it?
Black Myth Wukong.
Oh yeah. Game of the Year candidate, like amazing mythology based on Chinese mythology, created in China. It's like one of the first AAA games ever made in China that's like gotten worldwide recognition. Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly. I was super pumped. I wanted to get it before the weekend. It's kind of maybe a little last minute. Wednesday, I'm just trying to order it for Friday. But you know what? I paid what I thought was the extra amount of money that was going to guarantee it was going to get here to me by Friday. Mm-hmm. And it didn't. Like I said, it didn't get here until Monday. And so I'm just like, okay, so I paid an extra $11 for, I could have just gotten regular shipping.
You could have just gone to the store. Even
I could have just it wasn't at the store. I would have just went to the store if it was.
Well, you live in Austin. I mean, you could have bought it at like any store.
No, I looked it up. That's the whole reason why I had to ship it. But it's
really
just. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty hard to. It's not hard to get, but I checked like Amazon and I checked Walmart and Target and GameStop. I think those were all of the major retailers I looked at to see who could get me the game the quickest. Sure. And ended up being Best Buy, and I was okay with paying the extra money. But the problem is, it's basically just you pay the extra money for advanced shipping, but it's really just a suggested time frame, right? Like it's like, hey, we hope we can get this to you by this time. But honestly, if we can't, we're not accountable for that. And that's my problem. It's like, okay, so if I don't get what I'm paying for by the time I'm supposed to get it, I mean, can I get my money back? Can I just get the money refunded back that would have costed for regular shipping? That's all I'm asking here. Is like, it's not maybe more than like $5 or something, but just would like there to be a level of accountability here.
Sure. This is the problem with late stage capitalism.
2025.
Absolutely.
I just
broken
want accountability.
Promises.
Right, I ordered something, I paid for it, and I didn't get it.
They said if we worked hard, made a lot of money, and then paid for a video game, that it would get there within a day or two.
Exactly.
And they lied.
And they lied to me. Why am I even in this? Why am I even doing this for?
Unbelievable.
So that's my rant about advanced shipping. It's a scam. Don't buy into it.
I've actually been running into some shipping problems too. So this is not just a you thing. Who did you order it from?
Best Buy.
But who did they ship it through?
UPS.
Oh man, yeah, that's been my problem. Name dropping. We're name dropping. I have had for the last 6 months. Not before then. I've lived here for 8 in Chicago in the same apartment. But for the last 6, UPS hasn't been delivering our packages unless I'm like downstairs at the apartment door. Because, dude, I've been putting in like my code, letting them know, here's my code. I've left notes on the outside of the door that says UPS only and written the code on the back, and they just ignore it, and they put another sticker there that says we couldn't reach you. And I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, see, that's what I was about to say. That you got the sticker. That's the worst.
I got the sticker.
Why even get it shipped to you?
Why even have stickers?
Why even have shipping?
Why? Yeah. Absolutely. Why buy anything?
Why buy anything?
Yeah, it's been like I waited today. I'm still waiting for a call back from UPS to discuss with a local manager about why they can't deliver it, which will be like the third time I've talked to them. It's nuts.
I'm going back to the 1950s or whenever shipping was less mainstream.
Sure.
You know, I mean, this is ridiculous. When the USPS was a reliable, mode of transportation.
Yeah, when they were delivering with
parcels.
like horses and
horses are reliable. I mean,
sure.
you think these delivery trucks, planes, jets, automobiles, you think these things are reliable?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. These things break down. These things are full of mechanical issues.
Unbelievable.
I mean, so yeah.
Not a single problem with horses.
Not a single problem with horses.
Bring it back.
I mean, they're all reliables,
Yeah. And if you can't get into the door, they can break it down.
Exactly.
Swift kick.
Swift kick. Yeah, it's shipping's a scam. I'm gonna request horses anytime I get anything ordered from now on.
Maybe that's the idea. Maybe the whole world is going back to like wanting things to be simpler. There's this huge retro gaming boom. There's Pokemon cards are popular again, which we'll talk about in a little bit. There are like obviously vinyl has been big for a while. Why not go back to shipping with horses?
Why not go back to shipping with horses? I mean, sure, is the wait time maybe going to be a little bit longer? Yeah, but you know what? At least I'm not saying my expectations higher than they should be.
But what's 3 weeks whenever you're going to sit outside and expect a horse to walk up? It's much different than like a UPS guy with a basket. If a horse is coming, I'm going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
I'm going to get that package.
I'm going to get that package. That's all there is to it. Shipping is a scam unless it's via a horse.
Yeah.
And if they're using horses, is it still shipping or is it horsing? There's another name to be had there, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess if this would have been a bigger thing back before the age of ships, if they would have been using horse, because ships were around long before horses. Obviously,
I didn't even put that together. That's exactly where the word shipping comes from.
Yeah, maybe they'd call it horsing.
Horsing.
You never know. No.
Put that under the wet socks because you're gonna have to put up a new shipping company now.
That's a great band name too. The Wet Socks. I've been trying to think of something to add to whenever I eventually inevitably change my band name again, because right now it's Weird Heist, but I'm throwing around like Joey Jupiter and the something, and Joey Jupiter and the Wet Socks is a band name. Like that's exactly what you're getting into. You know exactly what you're getting into. Just nothing but straight bangers. Bangers. Absolute fire. Slightly
I love that.
Skewed bangers, maybe not little off kilter bangers.
True. Yeah.
You're
not getting into Joey Jupiter and the Wet Sox for straight.
No. So why this next note? Why do you think you can make the days longer? What is this about? Do you have seasonal depression? Do we need to talk?
No, making the days longer. Right. So there's not. It's just a known fact. Yeah. There are not enough hours in the day.
Sure.
Just a known fact. 24 is not enough.
If there were more hours, maybe UPS would deliver our packages faster.
Yes. Oh. Exactly. I mean, it would take fewer days.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I agree.
So I'm just, I'm saying we basically have to do every 2 days. Every 2 days is going to be considered a day.
Sure.
48 hours is the new day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The world has to go around, do its global spinny thing twice. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then that's going to make years where basically the Earth goes around the sun twice. Sure. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's it. And we're still gonna work 8 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. We don't need to be working anymore
no.
to account for the additional time,
And the rest of the time is fun.
And the rest of the time is fun. The rest of the time you can do whatever you want. With that with that being said, maybe no. I guess trying to think of the shipping thing. I guess it would still take the same number of days if people were still working the same number of hours. But you know what? I'm fine with it.
You know what?
I'm fine with
Whatever.
it. Whatever.
It's for the people.
It's what. You know what? If I had 48 hours in a day, I will be in a better mood to allow for longer,
Yeah.
or like I guess it technically might be longer ship times.
And I feel
shipping
like
times.
for those who don't know, Chris loves taking naps, and that would mean that you have like a long 8-hour nap in the middle of every day. So this is like perfect for you.
This is perfect for me.
Yeah.
I basically get. Yeah. I just think we have to do something as a society to increase the length of days.
Yeah.
And so I'm just basically saying every one day needs to be 2 days.
Great.
And then every year will be 2 years. And that's just how if we can just start keeping track of time, I don't think it's that hard. We already have the basic metrics in place. You know?
Why not? Who's stopping us?
Who's stopping us? What? Because it doesn't make sense. We already have the basic metrics in place. We're just basically multiplying everything by 2, sort of.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, I mean, nothing really makes sense. It's all made up shenanigans. So why not?
Exactly.
Why not just do that? Social norms. They're not real.
We don't even know how the Earth got created. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense. So
No.
Yeah. Why don't we just kind of change the way we look at things?
Speaking of nothing making sense, since I got back from Japan, whenever I'm like going past people in like the grocery store or like Target or like I'm out and about shopping, sometimes I'll the normal thing to do in the United States is just be like, oh, hey, yeah, excuse me, I'm getting by. I've been bowing to people on accident, and it's weird.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, weird for other people, but if someone bowed to me, it would be like the largest compliment.
Touching. It's touching.
Receive. It would be touching. Exactly. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting though. And how do people often take this very kind gesture that you make?
I think it's just been ignored. I think it's like one of those things where it's just like subtle enough that people are just like, oh, that guy's just weird, and then like
it just looks like he's reaching down. He dropped something.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's fine. It's fine. No one said anything yet. I guarantee it's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna do that to like a cashier or something. It's just, it's whatever. I feel more polite. I feel better doing it. I might just pick it up anyway. It might not even be an accident anymore. I'm just gonna do it.
Speaking of, this is really important. Speaking of cashiers, a friend or someone I work with told me a joke that they heard from a cashier over the weekend, and so I'm going to tell it right now, right here, live on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
How do you plan? How do you schedule? How do you plan an interstellar party? If that makes sense. I might have botched it already.
I don't know. How do you plan it?
See, there it is.
You got it. Okay.
See, you got it. I'm thinking maybe plan was not the word to use in the setup there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, I thought it was really funny. Is that something they do? Going way back now. To like bowing like to people whenever as like a sign of excuse me. Is that something they do in Japan?
Oh yeah. As like instead of saying like thank you or sign of respect whenever you like walk out of like a place. Or if you're like doing something where you're just like, man, I'm gonna go and like leave this place, or I'm gonna say thank you to the store clerk. You just bow along with it. I think it's great.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah,
I think
me
that's
too.
pretty cool.
Me too. Let's move on to our next section, talking about the end of the year 2024.
Ooh.
I'm excited about this.
I am excited about it too. I miss it.
Oh, do you?
I think.
What did you do for New Year's, Chris?
I went to see a Talking Heads cover band called Heartburn. They're from Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
We've talked about them a lot, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. They played for about a couple hours, 2.5 hours.
How does that compare to whenever we went to go see the Cake cover band?
Oh, right. Yeah. They were both great. Yeah, but it was fun. They played from about 10, 10:30, maybe 10 o'clock to like 11:40, or no. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is they did stop for like a midnight, kind of break where we all had like champagne glasses and stuff. And
I love
did,
that.
Actually, they weren't glasses. Yeah, they were in cups, but yeah, we all did like a champagne
no
toast.
flutes, no crystal.
There were no flutes. There were no crystals. Were there flutes or crystals at your New Year's thing?
No.
You went to Oregon?
Oregon.
Oregon? I don't know. I mean,
we don't say it. You don't say it very often. We're from Pennsylvania, so this is like not. Yeah. Yeah.
My dad asked me if he said I saw Joe went to Oregon. Did he run into Bigfoot there?
Huh?
Huh?
Did I?
Did you? I was hoping that I'd have some pictures if you did.
I didn't. I did not run into Bigfoot. It's beautiful out there, though. Oh my God, we went on this hike. It was just in a state park behind like 10 different waterfalls. It was rainy. It was rainy the whole time. It was. They go months sometimes over the course of the winter without like any sunlight, and I couldn't do that. It's already like in Chicago. It gets so cold. In Austin, it just feels like fall, like summer 2.0. But it felt like it was like just such a nice break for a few days. It was rainy. Didn't want to go outside. Just wanted to hang, watch movies, relax. And on New Year's, we just played Jackbox, and hung out in my friend's living room and like played Jackbox. Then went to bed at like 12:15. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch any good movies?
We watched Twisters, which
nice.
It's not like a good movie, but
I beg to differ.
Oh no, but hear me out. I loved it. I thought it was so good. Everyone else that we watched it with, like my wife Catherine and our friends Nate and Becca, who wasn't feeling so well, so didn't finish it. They were like, "Yeah, this is fine," but like summer blockbusters like that are it for me. It felt so good.
I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. I was pretty. And I think we've probably talked about it to some extent. I was riding high whenever Twisters was coming out. I had never seen the movie Twister.
Yeah.
So
in
preparation for Twisters, I watched Twister, and then I kind of got, I watched a couple trailers for Twisters. I kind of got the gist of it, right? It's a sequel, sort of, to a spiritual sequel to Twister.
Sure. Sure.
And I was just like, what? Do people actually do this? This is crazy to me. Like,
I don't think it's a spiritual sequel. It is like a sequel, just with like different characters,
Yeah, but it's crazy. I mean, like, are people actually out there like chasing tornadoes? Like, I mean, that it was like just perfect. I mean, it took me like months to wrap my head around that, because it just seemed like so ridiculous.
Storm chasers, baby. You never watched KXAN News during a tornado watch? Come on.
Yes, maybe. It kind of is deep back in there, a little buried, but
yeah.
But yeah, so
people do that.
That's crazy. And then like you said, I think it just makes for like a perfect summer, like just big blockbuster kind of movie.
Glenn Powell is on one between that and Top Gun. Like, my God, both of those so good.
Yeah. He also did Hitman for Netflix, which came out I think in the early summer of last year, which was pretty good too. I enjoyed that.
I think that won something. It was nominated for something at the what was it last night? Academy
Golden
Awards?
Globes.
Golden Globes. There we go. That one.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of every year, we do our some music stuff, typically, where we've talked about our favorite albums of the year. And we have a lot to get to because, we haven't been doing the podcast as often. So we want to just touch on our favorite 5 albums of the year. So, Chris, what did that look like for you this year? Give me the high level.
High level. I'm gonna count it down. I'm just gonna very quickly summarize some of these. obviously these are just 5 albums, so like if you know me, then you probably know, or I've probably talked about these 5 albums already a bunch.
Sure.
If you don't know me, then great. Like this is a pretty cool 5 album, or pretty easy like 5 album summary of what kind of music I listen to. Number 5 is MJ Lenderman, Manning Fireworks. Manning, which again is not a reference to Peyton Manning or the Manning family.
Or Eli Manning or Archie Manning.
Yeah, it's just people who work fireworks, which took me a month to figure out.
Okay. All right.
But it's basically just kind of low key rock music to just drink 12 beers to over the course of 10 or 11 songs.
Yeah, low key.
Low key. Number 4 is number 4 on my list is Maggie Rogers. Don't Forget Me. Maggie Rogers is one of the best. Just straight up greatest of all times. And yeah, album is a little more, I feel like, southern for her, a little more soulful. Yeah. But still very Maggie Rogers. And
we saw her in October, like around Halloween, and my God, that show was so good.
The show was so cool.
Yeah, you came to Chicago. We saw it at the United Center, home of Michael Jordan. And wow,
there was confetti.
Yeah,
there were
so much confetti.
She's got pipes. I mean, just freaking pipes that just go from her mouth all the way up. She can.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to find words to find.
I don't know what that means, but well, you know what? Yeah, I'm feeling the vibe. It's vibes. That's vibes.
Vibes is pipes. No,
this is vibes, baby. Pipes is vibes, and pipe. Oh my God.
No, I just trying to find a nice way to say that she can sing really great.
Yeah,
that's not even a great way to put that.
Yeah,
grammatically speaking, I think. But good job. Number 3. Number 3 is America's local band Cheek Face. It's just called, the name is just called Cheek Face. Yeah. But they are America's local band. And their album is It's Sorted. It's just kind of like nerdy indie rock. It's a lot of spoken word stuff, a lot of like just like a lot of one-liners and a lot of just silly lyrics and stuff. It's I saw them in Austin last year. I forget when, but they're just kind of silly people. And they're just it's a silly fun album. It's
silly
like
people making silly music.
That's a great way of putting it. Silly people making silly music.
Just joyful.
Just joyful. Number 2 is Charlie Bliss, Forever. And the band is Charlie Bliss. The album is Forever. And it really,
which is not their lead singer's name is not Charlie Bliss, which threw me for a fucking loop. I almost walked up to her once and called her Charlie, and I'm glad I did not do that.
Yeah, that's I think that was my general assumption too. Whenever I first listened to the band, and I'm just come to think of it, I still don't know where the name comes from. And if I don't know. And if I did know, I forget. But yeah, they're a really great pop rock band. This is their first album in I think 5 years.
Dang.
And so there's a lot of expectations for it, a lot of hype behind it. And the first song, 19, whenever that came out, I was like, this is it. They're doing it. And yeah, and I think it's really great.
We saw Charlie Bliss at South by one year.
Yes.
And
we saw them.
Where was that? I don't remember the venue.
It was at Scoot Inn.
Yeah.
I believe. Because for years, I've lived in Austin for about 3.5 years. And up until recently, I had told people since I had moved here that I had never been to Scoot Inn. And then when I went to Scoot Inn, maybe in November or December, we saw the band Dead. I saw the band Dead with a group of people. I was like, oh no, I've definitely been here before, and that was when this is the place we saw Charlie Bliss at here in Austin. And yeah, and then it was like one of those moments where I was just like, oh cool. So like past like 3 years of my life where I've been telling people I haven't been here has been a lie.
Dirty, rotten liar. On that note, Dead put out a really good record this year called Poetry that I really liked. It's not on my list, but it was good.
Yeah. It was a good live show. I've listened to the album I think once. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then my number one album is by a band called Melt. And then the album is called If There's a Heaven. It's like a, I don't know how to describe music, honestly. It's like an indie rock album, but it's more pop rock, I guess. But it's just really great. It came out of nowhere. I didn't really know the bands until I think I heard Plant a Garden. I think it was on like Stereo Gum at some point.
Sure.
And so I was going through Stereo Gum and I listened to Plant a Garden, and I was like, oh, okay, this is like it's like a little piano-y. It's a little rocky. And I was like, okay, I could kind of get into this. And then the full album came out, and I pressed play on it. And Fake Romantic was one of my favorite songs. That's the opener on the album. That was one of my favorite songs all year. And so after I hit play on that and I listened to that once, I was like, oh, this is extremely my shit.
I love that. The only band I recognize on like the Spotify fans also like is Austin's own Sir Woman. And
yeah.
But I'll have to listen to them. This looks great.
Yeah. So that is my top 5. Hopefully that was quick and easy.
Quick, easy, nothing to it.
Easy peasy.
I too have a top 5, although I don't feel like I've listened to as much music this year between moving and just life in general, going on my honeymoon and like planning that. Like I've been going back to some of my old favorites and even a lot of albums from last year, like Bill Murray's American Motorsports and
oh yeah, that's a good one.
So good. And what else? Boys Like Girls was also one that like Sundays at Foxwoods is so stinking good. Or no, you know what? American Motorsports came out this year, didn't it?
Yeah, 2024. Mm-hmm.
Dang. Well, then in that case, see, I'm all messed up. That's my album of the year. I'm just gonna throw that out there and then give you all the other ones because it's in no particular order. But I've listened to that so much. They are my top listened to band of the year by like a significant margin, and it's so good.
Crank that hog. Man, all gas, no brakes. So good. So that's been mine, and just like the combination of like metal and country and saxophone and electronic music that somehow fits together so perfectly. It's mind-blowing to me that it works, and it somehow does. And it's just like this mix of all of these different types of music. And even though I'm not usually a country fan, all of the other things that play into that are it makes for just such a good listening experience. I want to run through a wall, but also there's some like tenderness to it. So that's number 1 for me. I'm going to go backwards order from there. Number 5 for me was Casey Musgrave's Deeper Well. I thought it was just great, easy to listen to. I saw her play here in Chicago, and it was just so good. She's amazing. Cardinal is one of my favorite songs of the year, and it's also the track opener, and it's just like super dope. Number 4 was Maggie Rogers' Don't Forget Me, because like you said, nothing that you said is untrue. So I'm not even going to go into it any deeper than that. My God, like, it's wonderful, and she's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Number 3 was Knocked Loose, You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to. Which, love it.
Yeah. Knocked Loose, I don't understand how. But they're like this incredibly heavy metalcore band that somehow, some way is getting like Grammy nominations and playing Coachella, and they're not necessarily easy to listen to. But my wife, who is not at all a fan of metal music. Like I usually when I'm listening to it, like it just makes the hair on the back of her neck stand up. Has listened to this and likes it.
Oh, okay.
Mind blowing. I don't know what it is about this band, but I've heard that from a bunch of other people too.
I liked their they were on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Yeah.
And they got like I guess the Jimmy Kimmel audience, a number of people reached out to Kimmel after after they performed live and were like, "What the heck is this?" Blah, 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 blah. And I just thought it was so fun. I thought the performance was pretty cool. I mean, I'm not like it's the music is a little hard for me. It's a little much, but I thought the performance was cool. I was like, this is especially for it to be like on a late night show. I'm kind of all for giving different bands or different a lot of the stuff they have on those late night shows is just mainstream pop or mainstream rock.
Palatable.
Exactly. And so for a band like Knocked Loose to get on there and get a shot, I was like, hell yeah, this is cool.
It was great. After that, my number 2 was The Story So Far, I Want to Disappear. And I've never been a huge fan of The Story So Far. Like, I've ebbed and flowed, but for them to be one of the biggest bands in pop punk right now, I wasn't seeing it for a long time. Like, I thought their stuff was good, not great. And then I Want to Disappear came out, and it's really good. It feels like the perfection of their craft and exactly what pop punk music is right now. Just kind of personified in one record. And Big Blind and Letterman are two just incredible songs. They're so catchy. Big Blind was one of my top songs for the year too. And
nice.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah,
so
that's an album.
Go.
I was going through some year-end lists, and that was an album that I knew I missed whenever it came out, and so I have it downloaded. This is one I want to go back to.
Amazing. You should, because it's pretty good.
Ooh.
Cool. What do you say we move on from some music stuff?
Yeah. Where is all the other stuff?
Let's get into some video games.
I'll tell you what. Let's talk about Google Docs and why they don't have a dark mode.
Yeah.
God help me.
I know.
Trying to look at the screen right now.
I just got Microsoft Office for that exact reason. I got so annoyed with it. Because I use dark mode on everything. It's great. Every single thing. My phone, my computer, my life.
I gotta my life. life on dark mode.
Life on dark mode. No lights.
I just came up with a brilliant idea. I'm just gonna put the podcast notes in Notepad because I don't have another word program.
I've been using Notion to like keep track of my life and to so for a long time I used OneNote, and that was primarily for like work purposes where that's how I organize all of my accounts that I've been selling to and people that I'm like supporting or whatever. And that was fine, but I couldn't like get that to work with personal life stuff. Like if I wanted to put like a goal setting dashboard together, or if I wanted to do something that was a little more complicated than just like a page within a page within a page, like what OneNote does. And so I've been using Notion, and it has a dark mode, and it is so good.
Ooh.
Organizing goals, and like we have our weekly house huddles on it, and it's great.
Okay.
I want to thank today's sponsor, UPS. Psych.
For all your shipping needs, go UPS.
Nay. Let's talk about Switch 2 rumors.
Okay. Sure.
They
UPS, they'll try their best.
What a slogan. Switch 2. How hasn't this been announced yet?
I don't even know. I don't know if is it something with like they're waiting on like to finalize the game lineup? Are they waiting to
Games
finalize?
are done. The games are
It's-
done.
You
Pokemon
have to
Legends
imagine-
ZA has been ready to go for like a year.
You have to imagine there had to be some reason they didn't. It would have been ideal, I think, for them maybe end of November last year to kind of announce it. But now, obviously, they were never going to announce it in December.
Yeah.
And now I feel like they still have to wait. I don't know if we
Well,
get anything in January.
It was going to be announced in March of last year. The reason we know this is there was a huge leak last year. Lots of like shit went down with how this got out, and like Nintendo getting hacked and the Pokemon company getting hacked and whatever.
Oh, right. I remember that.
But because of that, there are there's a ton of info out there about what was supposed to happen, and because of that leak, they know that there have been games like Legend ZA done for not just months, like a year, ready to be shipped. And Nintendo does this sometimes where they have games ready to go and they shelve them, or they have games ready to go and they wait a long time. I think Star Fox 2 is a really good example of that, where they had this game done in the 90s, but it would have released after the Nintendo 64 for the Super Nintendo, and they were like, we don't want to do that. And it's still,
okay.
Nowadays with Pokemon games, they'll release those games well after the next system is getting games. So like Black and White 2 for the 3DS was released after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was released after the Switch came out. And so it's just like things like that where it's like, what are we doing here? Oh, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were after the Switch. Black 2 and White 2 were DS games, but the 3DS was out. And so
I remember that. Yeah.
I don't know what the case is going to be with the Switch 2. I do know that it's going to be backwards compatible, which is stinking awesome. We're going to be able to play our old games on it.
I think that was kind of assumed, or like that was a large hope. That if it wasn't fulfilled, it would have been a pretty big letdown.
Yeah.
But to your point, not only is it going to be fully backwards compatible, but there is talk, I think, of like some increased performance for some games.
They are saying that in handheld mode, 1080p, and docked 4K. So, Sure, we'll take it. I'm cool with that. Pretty much like a PS4 Pro is what it's comparable to, but
60 frames?
I hope so.
Frames?
I hope so. I don't know. Is the Switch now? What's the Switch FPS? I think it's 60 now.
No, I think it's got to be 30.
Yeah.
I would have been. Maybe Mario Kart 8 Deluxe would maybe run a little better, but I feel like most Nintendo Switch games are going to be 30.
Yeah. It looks like it varies. It doesn't have a frame rate, but they go between 60 and 30, and a lot of games go lower than that. So
yeah,
I don't think there's any rumor about it.
Okay, it could just maybe I saw. Maybe it was just like someone speculating as to whether or not, but maybe no.
I mean,
no actual leak of it.
The Game Boy Advance, the DS, even the game, well, not the Game Boy Color, but those games like Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, those were 60 frames a second. So they've done it. I just don't know what's going to happen with this.
Okay, I think thinking back on it, I think someone was maybe it was just someone on Twitter that was hoping for Xenoblade, like the series, to be in 60. Would be kind of cool. I think maybe even I thought Breath of the Wild was maybe rumored to be 60, like on the Switch too. But again, it's all speculation until they, come out with it.
Yeah.
But
they do have magnetic Joy-Cons though, and those were. Did you see the leak that just came out like a day or two ago, where someone in China actually had one of the new Joy-Cons?
Yeah,
they're out there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The fact that they're magnetic too is just getting a Joy-Con on and off the Switch is like truly one of the most difficult things in life.
I don't think it's that hard.
I think it's you have to press down on that button pretty hard, and then
I don't. Maybe that's your Switch. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe you got to up your grip strength, Chris.
Maybe I just
Get to
always
the gym.
I've always felt like it's like when you're taking like putting the Switch control Joy-Con on the Switch, putting a Joy-Con on the Switch. Fine, it's like it works. It does what it's supposed to. It feels like it should.
Sure.
Taking it off always made me feel like I was gonna break it. Like it's like it was almost a deal breaker for me to like want to take them off. It's like, oh well, we could use the Joy-Cons, but then I'd have to take them off the Switch. I don't know. Like maybe it's just a me thing, but or like a my Switch thing, but
Maybe
yeah. So again, just the fact that these are going to be magnetic, they're just going to snap on and off. I think that's wonderful. I'm so excited.
Are you worried about them like falling off though? Like I've had so many times where I have my Switch and I'm just like playing it on like the plane, and if a magnetic controller goes flying on the plane, like
no, I don't think it'll be that bad. I think of like the MagSafe charger that Apple I think uses for its laptops. It did back in the day, and I think they use them now still. That to me is like a pretty good example. Obviously it's a difference between if like the charger in your laptop falls and hits the ground versus like one of your controllers falling and hitting the ground. Like that's gonna be way less, that's gonna be slightly more problematic. But yeah, I think it would probably be pretty solid. I have to imagine that those things are gonna be, they're only gonna come off if you intend for them to come off, hopefully.
Yeah.
There will be people though. This just came to mind. There will be people. I think I vaguely remember whenever the Switch came out, there was a viral trend of people dropping the Switch from ungodly distances, like just like 2 or 3 stories up in like an apartment building or whatnot, and just seeing if they would break. And so we will know how strong.
They did.
Yeah, surprise. We will know how strong the magnetic connection is, because there will be people who will drop their Switch, and we will see if those Joy-Cons fly off.
I want the strongest magnets in the world. I don't just want like I'm not thinking like, oh, tiny little magnets, I can snap them off. I want to struggle. I want this to be like,
I want it to be a trial of strength. This is just pay for the Switch 2 is not going to be enough. You're going to have to prove that you are worthy to use it. It's going to be like pulling the sword out of the stone anytime you want to use your Joy-Cons.
You have entered King Miyamoto's kingdom. The Knights of the Mushroom Kingdom.
60 frames per second. And the strongest magnets in the world. That's all I'm asking for with the Switch 2. That's it.
I think that would be a good thing. I want that. Sign me up. Wonderful. I'm just excited for it to be a replay of what happened, at this point, almost 10 years ago. I guess it was 9 years ago that the Switch came out, where we just couldn't find it anywhere. And I remember very vividly, you and I podcasted about this right after it happened, because I was able to get one at like 6 a.m. by going to a Target. No, I went to a random Walmart in Cleveland, and I was able to find one right as they were opening.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're probably right. I can definitely imagine there are going to be, and maybe that's why they've delayed the release so long, to maybe kind of try and prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
Maybe that they don't want these kind of I know we saw it with these kind of console shortages at release. We definitely saw it with the PS5 and even the newer Xboxes when they came out. Obviously, I think the pandemic really played a part in that.
And it wouldn't surprise me if that impacted Switch 2 production too. Or at least like their ability to put it together, because they are always developing systems. Like Nintendo knows what they're going to do after the Switch 2 already, or at least they have like some idea. But
that they're already trying to test and
and they've always done that. They've always done that. But for them, I feel like they just don't want a repeat of what happened with the Switch, although they made so much stinking money because it was such a hot commodity. It was like in the news anytime someone got a restock. For like months, for like more than a year.
Yeah. Yeah, but going back to it, I mean, at this point, we are, in terms of when they might announce it, we're at the point now where so much has leaked already.
Yeah.
And so much more is probably going to leak. Would it just be best for Nintendo to get ahead of the curve and to just come out with their reveal and just say, hey, just to try and keep it from blowing up?
What's this? I'm getting an exclusive. They're actually announcing it on the PlaySound podcast.
Yes.
Miyamoto just texted me.
The big reveal.
Yeah. So my thought is that it's probably happening this month or next month. Like, it has to, because I think it's going to be released in April or May of this year. I don't see how, with the like fever pitch right now, how it couldn't be. It's CES right now. There's a lot of technology being announced. So I give it 2 weeks, and I think that, like, January 23rd. I'm calling it now. January 23rd, 10 a.m. Pacific time, Nintendo Direct. They're going to announce the Switch 2.
I say
Calling
January 27th.
Oh!
I'm calling it.
Ooh!
Tuesday. What would that be, a Tuesday?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. What day did I say? 23rd?
Yeah. No, you said 23rd, which I think would be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 27th.
Okay. All right, so I'm calling a Thursday. You're calling a Monday.
No. We have it all wrong. So 2 weeks would be... I'm an idiot. So wait, what date did you say? You said Thursday.
Thursday, January 23rd.
I'm going to say... I'm going to say they announce that they're doing a Direct on Monday the 27th, and then the Direct will be the 29th. It'll be 2 days later.
Okay. Let's see what happens. The reason that I don't think it's not going to happen next week, because they have... there's some big game coming out next week. What is the game that's coming out soon?
It's a game releasing in January?
Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think they'll announce it until they have like some leeway from that. A week is fine. I'm going to buy that game eventually.
Oh, yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah, who knows?
Real quickly, and I think we've talked about it before briefly, what games are we... I'm 50-50 on whether I'm going to buy the Switch 2 at launch.
Okay.
The only reason I bought the Switch at launch was obviously Breath of the Wild. I was one of those people. Totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But do we know what's going to launch with the Switch 2 in terms of games? I know you mentioned Pokemon earlier.
Legends EA, and they've never launched a console with a Pokemon game. This is going to be a first for them, and I think that especially with TCG Pocket launching, with the way that the trading card game has just been booming, or like, I'm not just talking booming, I'm talking like they can't print enough cards, and anytime you go into a store, you can't find any because people are buying the crap out of them. So I think that's going to be like absolutely huge. My guess is 3 things. Legends ZA, I think we get a new 2D Zelda, because they've done all of these like 2D top down, but they did Echoes of Wisdom. They did A Link to the Past. I think that there's something that's going to happen where we get a new Zelda immediately, and I think that GameCube games are going to come included with it for the first like year as a Switch Online thing, and I think that's going to sell the crap out of it.
Yeah, you get Melee Online with that?
I bet it comes with Melee Online. I bet it comes with
that's just gonna break
Smash Bros. Pokemon Coliseum. Yeah, Smash Bros. I bet it comes with Pokemon Coliseum. I think that probably all of those things. And my God, are we due for a new 3D Mario game? Like,
Yeah,
it's time.
I think that's the big one. I think a lot of people are, we're not going to get a new 3D Zelda game, right? We just got Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
Probably close to
Maybe
2
we
years
get
ago
Tears
now.
of the Kingdom Deluxe, or like,
No, they've said they don't have anything left to put in the Tears of the Kingdom
they've
tank.
said that forever.
But-
And I think a new Smash Bros. Maybe not immediately, and I don't think it's directed by Sakurai. I think he's probably executive producing it, but I think that they're working on a new Smash Bros. Because there just has been no news for so long.
But that's because they're done. It's over.
It's not over. Come on, they make too much money.
That's true. What about is Metroid Prime 4 going to come out at launch?
I think Metroid Prime 4 comes out as one of the last Switch games, and I think that it has kind of like some old Nintendo 3DS games or Nintendo DS games that came out in the 3DS era. I think it has like enhancements that work on it, and it's probably cross-platform.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, those probably don't all come out at the same time, but I think this year we get Legend ZA and Metroid Prime 4. We already know that that's happening anyway. Probably a new Mario game, GameCube stuff, and like that is so much. And but at the end of the year, probably November, December, we probably get the next generation of actual Pokemon games that is not a Legends. And I think that's like, I mean, if they come out with all of those, which I think they will, then they won't come limping out of the gates like they initially did with, for example, the Wii U or the GameCube. I think it's yeah.
Even the Switch, I think. I mean, aside from Zelda, that was like,
and Odyssey, Zelda and Super Mario Odyssey were both year one games.
no.
Yeah, that's
No.
why Odyssey. Yeah, absolutely.
We can look it up. So Breath of the Wild came out in 2017 with the Switch.
Yeah, October of 2017 was Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was. Yeah. Okay. That was pretty big then. I kind of forget about that. I feel like the Switch maybe had a slow, maybe
It didn't have much
summer
else.
then.
Yeah, I mean, whenever it launched, it had like a couple. It had Breath of the Wild. It had Puyo Puyo Tetris, Bomberman, Wonderful 101. It was like not a great launch for them, other than Zelda. Like obviously that was the system seller. And I think you come out with a new Mario game, and they probably learned their lesson where it's like, wow, if we would have like released these separately, like Mario could have been a system seller, game of the year, and it didn't get that because of Zelda. And I think they want that in this day and age with the Game Awards and with like the hype of YouTube being like, here's my top 10 list for the year. I think that we probably get Mario and Pokemon this year, and Metroid, and they're all like super good.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. If we get a new 3D Mario at launch, I think that would probably do me in. And new 3D Mario at launch and GameCube Online. Depending on what games are initially on there, I think I'd probably just buy into it and
it's got to happen, right? Like we're far enough away from it. We were getting N64 games ported to the Wii whenever it came out. You could buy like Sin and Punishment, which was an N64 game, on the Wii shop.
Yeah.
So we are more than far enough away from the GameCube that like it's time. It's time. Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
It's time. My body is ready.
Yeah.
I will replay Pokemon Coliseum. I haven't, and when I say replay, I mean like I haven't played it since it came out.
Yeah, I don't think
that's to imply that I've recently played it, and this will be a replay.
I've thought about playing through them again because I have Coliseum, and I'm pretty sure that I have XD Gale of Darkness as well in my GameCube collection still. But why pull them out if I know I'm going to be able to get what is hopefully like a remaster, or at least like high quality, not squished on my OLED TV. Like I'm ready.
Yeah.
Give it to me. I will buy that.
All we have to do now is wait.
So what have we been playing? What games have you been playing lately? Let's move off of the Switch because there's going to be so much talk about that this year. What has been the latest in the world of Chris D'Arcangelo?
Well,
games.
let me tell you what. The latest and greatest that came out in February of last year is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And it took me the better part of the full year to beat it, but I finally beat it last month.
I love
my
that.
game of the year. Absolutely loved it. I don't want to spoil too much, so I won't, right? Because you don't want it to be spoiled.
No, I actually just got I just got it with the Steelbook like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, all right. I won't spoil anything then, but yeah, it's easily my favorite game of the year. That and Persona 3 Reload being the other kind of big one I played. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is just the presentation's on another level. I mean, even just like I just think every part of the game has just so much character and fun and joy, and it all looks so good. I think it looks good.
I gotta beat Remake still. My God.
Oh my gosh, Remake's
So close.
fantastic too. But I really feel like as much as I loved Remake, I think Rebirth really took that and just upped it to another level.
Big if true.
Big if true. I was watching what's his name? Maximilian Dude. I think is his name. He's a big Twitch,
Sure.
streamer guy.
Big Twitch guy.
He was he made a point the other night where he's like, I really think, when the next the last of the Final Fantasy VII Remake games comes out, right? It's gonna be part 3 of 3, in probably 3 to 4 years. That's gonna be it, like a big Lord of the Rings moment for like the remake series, right? You had Final Fantasy VII Remake and you had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and they got a few awards here and there, a couple Game of the Year nominations, but maybe none of the big no big wins. But if they come out and they really nailed like the final game in this remake trilogy, I mean it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be the biggest thing.
Oh
ever.
my God,
and
yeah.
Again, just to have that like almost Lord of the Rings moment where again, like the first and second Lord of the Rings movies, obviously great, but it wasn't until Return of the King came out that everyone was like, they really did something here.
Yeah.
And so so I'm really excited for that. And then again, just loved Rebirth. Loved Rebirth to death. It took me like 125 hours, I think. Maybe
that's
130.
Like some Persona levels of long.
Way longer than I think it's really supposed to, but that's just what happens when you're average.
This is like a well-known thing that you're just bad at video games.
Absolutely, just
you love them,
stubborn to a point, and we'll try again and until like the 50th time when I'm like finally admitting, okay, it's not working.
Sure,
I'll either look it up or try something else.
Absolutely. And I think that is, there's nothing wrong with that, because frankly, like, you enjoyed the crap out of them. Why worry? Why not just be bad? You get more time, more for your money if you're bad at them.
More bang for my buck.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have Sonic 3 here next. But do we want to just kind of keep
Let's
rolling
stick on
with
games,
what
and
we're
then maybe we talk about that in recommendations, because I'm about to go see that.
Okay, cool.
Steam Deck. I do want to talk about the Steam Deck for a second, because you have in here written Steam Deck OLED versus the Asus Rogue Ally, right?
Yes.
Tell me about this.
So I got you helped me build a big nice gaming PC last year. I'm all in on Steam now. I'm starting to build like a sizable library.
Sure. Steam sales are the best. You can get like many games for so cheap.
Steam sales are the best. I would like to have I'm getting to the point where it's like, hey, like, even if I don't use it all the time, I would like a portable way to play my Steam collection.
Absolutely. It makes a big difference.
And for a hot minute, I thought the Steam Deck was the only way to do that. And now I find out that that's not the case. There's like a dozen other alternatives.
Yeah.
After doing almost no research, I found that the Asus Rogue Ally X is like, it's that or the Steam Deck OLED. There are some other ones, but again, in my almost lack of research to a fault, because I just didn't want to bog myself down with options. I was just like, okay, it's either the Steam Deck, which is like obviously like Steam, so it's like it's gonna do what it's supposed to do, that's what you're buying. And then I found out that the Asus ROG Ally X is like, it's a portable Windows machine meant as like a portable gaming PC. But they both have their faults. They both have their pros. Yeah. But I came across in trying to find something to get my Steam Deck or just collection of PC games.
So here
in a portable way.
What I think is so important about this. I don't think they're going to release a new Steam Deck for another couple of years. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, rumors have started floating around already, but it does what they need it to, and especially with the refresh that added a little bit more power to it and the OLED screen version that they came out with, it's great, and it does everything. Even mine, which is like the original Steam Deck with like 512 gigabytes of memory, I think. Even mine with like a tiny memory card in it, I can play Elden Ring. I can play, what else? Street Fighter
Red Dead
6.
Redemption 2.
Could play that.
Street Fighter 6.
I've been playing a lot of games on there. Actually, a couple of the games that I'm going to talk about, actually most of the games I'm going to talk about whenever we talk about what I'm playing, I've been playing on the Steam Deck. And I think that the thing, if you look at all of the stats, they might look comparable, or even the ROG Ally X might be a little bit better than the Steam Deck in a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a little more powerful.
I think the biggest difference and like the it factor with the Steam Deck is having Steam OS, because so many people use it now that it's the biggest, most used like consumer level of Linux at the time. And it's probably the most that Linux is ever going to be used by anyone. It's going to be through Steam Deck. But it just works, and it launches games, and it verifies games. Like, people will use it, and if it works on one Steam Deck, it works on all of them. And I think the issue with a lot of games in the first place on PC versus a Switch, a PlayStation, or an Xbox is that PC games you have to like mess with. You got to mess with the settings. You have to make sure that it works on like high graphic settings. You got to check with like what the frame rate is. And I think the reason that the Steam Deck has been so popular is because it gets rid of a lot of those things, and it just has standard settings that you can use where it's like people have played with this. They know what's going to work. And I think the difference between something like the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally is it might have more power, but games are being optimized for Steam Deck now, which is huge. It's the first time in PC gaming that's really like happened on that type of level.
Yeah, and I thought, after watching a few videos, I think I thought that because the Steam Deck comes with Steam OS, I thought that was your one and done. You could not, if you had a game that wasn't through Steam, you wouldn't be able to play it. But that's not the case. One of my friends who's probably a lot more tech savvy than I am, he's like, hey, I play some Blizzard games. I think Diablo 2 specifically. He's got like a Blizzard launcher. You can launch, obviously, when you turn it on through Steam OS, but you can also launch other things.
Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass works on it
on the Steam Deck. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought the Steam Deck was like a one and done. If you don't have it through Steam,
I mean, you can put Windows. You can even put Windows on a Steam Deck.
Yeah, good luck. But
good luck, yeah.
but yeah, no. So it still has, obviously Steam OS is, if you have a game through Steam and that's like, obviously your preferred way to play it, absolutely, like all the more power to you. But you do have other ways to launch games. You can kind of incorporate other launchers or kind of bring in your other game libraries. On the Steam Deck as well. The A6 ROG Ally, I was watching someone play Call of Duty, which honestly probably isn't something I would do,
It's such a big game anyway that like that's the only game you can fit.
That's true, actually. Well, probably. It's like you said, it's going to take up a lot of hard drive space. But yeah, I'm probably leaning towards the Steam Deck. Like you're saying, I have a gaming PC. If I want to buy a game and I want to try to max it out and do all of the customization stuff and and trying to get it to run as best as it can. I'm going to tinker with that. I'm going to do all that on my gaming PC. For a handheld option, Steam OS, just give me something that works. I don't want to spend, an hour and a half of my 2.5 hour flight trying to get the game to run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
dude, I for a long time I would buy games on Switch versus my PC because I was like, man, this is like a great game, but I want to be able to bring it over to other people's houses and like play this with other people in the same way that I play it like on my own. So whether that's Jackbox or like a beat 'em up like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I would buy that on my Switch, or like Boomerang Fu. But
oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember this whenever we were like our group of friends all got together over the 4th of July this past year, but I have a deck for my Steam Deck, like a docking station that I can plug into anything, and it makes it super easy to like use that in a similar way, almost to a T, as a Switch. And so you can use that, and we've played Jackbox with it. Whenever I was in Oregon for New Year's, we played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge side-scroller beat 'em up. And my God, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, it's
I love
definitely
mine.
have a lot more horsepower than the Switch.
Yeah.
And like you said, the dock is like, it's a I think Valve makes the Steam Deck. And so I think they also make that official
they make a dock.
first-party dock.
They make a dock, but you can use any of them. Like, you can just get a USB-C dock that is meant to work with a handheld gaming PC. It would also work with the Asus ROG Ally. But the one that I got is like a third-party. I don't think it's Anchor, but it's like one of those companies that makes like little tech pieces. And I have mine where all you need to do is plug in the charger, plug in an HDMI, and then I even have a bunch of like games that I have connected to my dock where I can use that as like my like emulation machine. I have a huge like 4 terabyte USB drive plugged into that dock, and it just works super well.
Okay.
So, would recommend.
Very cool.
Well, I think we are going to talk next about the games that we're playing right now. Let's take a quick break before we do that. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. Chris, I lit a candle like while we were talking earlier, and my room smells so good.
Ooh.
It's
My room smells like farts.
Yeah, that's why I like candles. It's a charcoal and black teak.
Okay. Wait, what's the second word?
Black teak. Teak. It's like a type of wood.
Teak? Oh,
Teak
okay.
wood. So good.
Teak.
My favorite.
Good.
Big fan. So, let's talk about the games that we're playing. Because we haven't really talked about this much lately, and you and I are playing some very different games. So, why don't you go first?
All right. On the docket, what have I been playing recently? Well, I beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Big win. I've been playing mostly Silent Hill 2 in the last month.
Ooh,
or
scary. Scary.
There's psychological horror.
Psychological horror.
And yeah, I don't really get it. Like,
Really?
like no. So to put that better is like, so I'm about 8 or 9 hours into the game, and it's all kind of spooky and creepy, but I'm waiting for like the why to hit in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, so this is all here. I don't understand why this is happening. I'm just here to save my wife, because that's like the main point of this, game. But why am I? Why is Silent Hill here? Why
are any of us here?
Why are any of these? Why are these enemies so weird looking?
Why is anyone weird looking?
And yeah, I'm just having an existential crisis playing this game.
Sure.
Because I don't understand anything in the game or in real life. And yeah, but it's cool.
One of those problems is much more important than the other.
It's interesting to say the least. and I'm like kind of here for it. Like it's not bad, but like I am slowly like patience is maybe waning a little bit as to okay, we gotta get to the why here. We gotta get to what is really going on. But it's been cool so far. It is kind of it is like it is kind of like a horror survival kind of game in a way, and it's one of those games where if any like 5 hours you say you put into it, it feels like you've played 15 hours.
Sure.
And so that's, it's basically me just going around the whole game, just like my gun is cocked the whole time. I'm like, every corner has to be triple checked.
Sure.
I'll turn around, for every 5 feet I walk, I turn around 10 times.
This is why I can't play horror games, because I just be running down the middle of the hallway.
Please, I'm just trying to. Have you seen my wife? My wife. I can't do a Borat impression.
Pew pew.
But yeah, I am kind of. It has been cool so far. And then the other two, I've kind of spot checked a little bit here and there. Sonic and Shadow Generations.
I want it. I want it so bad.
It's been cool. I've been playing the Shadow. There's Sonic Generations, which is a lot of.
It's
Sonic
a remake of the original Sonic Generations, though, right? Isn't it just like a better version of the first Sonic Generations with like the same levels, just like upscaled?
Yep, I believe so. And then they have like the Shadow Generations portion, which is like an all new Shadow storyline,
which is great because those are the games that we played anyway. Was like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle and Sonic, like the games that and Shadow the Hedgehog, which finally it's redemption for that game.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of similar enemies, and I think kind of callbacks to it.
Yeah.
And then I'm still waiting in Sonic Generations. I haven't played Sonic Generations as much, but I've played a small handful of levels. I'm still waiting to get to City Escape.
It's so good.
And to just hear that just sweet soundtrack. I think it's Live and Learn that plays. No, it's rolling around at this. I don't know what the song's called, but I can picture it now. The song starting as the level begins.
Around
it's
at
at the speed
of
of sound.
Yeah.
It's not Live and Learn, but still very great.
I feel like that song and Simple and Clean from Kingdom Hearts hold like a chokehold over my brain still.
People care about this shit.
Yeah,
I mean, even today,
shapes people's music taste.
Yeah,
bunch of weebs,
truly.
But yeah, music tastes are real.
Weeb music tastes are real. Put that on a t-shirt.
Honestly.
Play
Sound Podcast. Weeb music tastes are real.
So I've been playing that a little bit. I've got maybe a handful of hours into it, and then our friend Dave and I have been playing through Destiny 2, the final shape.
Yeah.
And we finally got through. We've been playing over the course of the year. We've been playing through all the previous DLC expansions, just mostly like the main storyline for each expansion, like up until we get to the final shape. And we finally have finished most of the main quest stuff for the final shape DLC. We're at the final, I think, dungeon area where you have to go in with 12 people. It's just one giant dungeon, and there's different parts of it. There's a lot of puzzle solving.
I'll play, but I'm gonna Leroy Jenkins the shit out of it.
We'll need to try and set you up.
No. We talked. The invite was open like a year ago, and I tried doing it and was just bad at it. I get motion sick playing games now, especially first person games. It's ridiculous.
I think it would be tough too, because I think your account would need to have a light
grotesquely underleveled.
That would have to be a significantly higher, but
yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to get back into it. Destiny 2, that is, and the final shape has been like a cool kind of ending. Even though we haven't beaten it yet, it has been cool. A lot of really cool character moments and callbacks toward the first game, and then also the previous expansions for Destiny 2. So that's been fun.
Nice.
But that's pretty much what I got going on.
I love that. I feel like I've been playing some very different games that are like way lower stakes. I've been playing Balatro, which, have you heard about Balatro, Chris?
Yes, I don't. Like, I've seen like I know what I know what it is, but I don't know what it's about or how to play it really.
So you get points by making poker hands. You have like an 8 or 9 card hand. I think it's like maybe 9 cards, and you get 9 cards, and you have to make a, like, let's say you have a full house with like 3 jacks and 2 queens. You score 10 points per face card, and then you also have a multiplier that is kind of like the dungeon crawling or like this is what makes this game so special, and makes it like a roguelike or roguelite type of game, where you might have like a jack that you can buy in between games that multiplies your score by 4, or you might have a jack that like multiplies your score by 2 for every heart card that you play. And your goal is to get the amount of points to beat the ante in each individual, or to beat like the what do they call it, the blind in each individual round. So like the first round is super low, you just need 300 points, and then the next round after that, it's like, okay, now you need to get 500, now you need to get 1,000, and you have to like strategically play the game so that the hands in your deck that you're scoring are worth enough points to get to the next level. And there's like a little bit of lore behind it. Like there's some personality behind the Joker cards that you can buy, and you can level up like how many points you get per hand. And so it feels a lot like a roguelike game, like Hades or Slay the Spire, or something that you like play and play and play, and you unlock stuff as you go, or you just get better at it and can do better because you know the game more.
Is there an end to it then, or is it kind of like Tetris where it just will keep going in most situations?
So you play it, and then if you lose, you go back and you have to start over. And each deck that you have is like a little bit different. One of them lets you have one more discard. Another one lets you have one more hand. Another one gives you like more level ups for the hand type that you play. And so you go back and you have to like the purpose of it is you have to get through 8 antes, which is 24 rounds to beat the game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then you unlock stuff as you play it. So I've really loved it. It's just like, it's so addicting. It's so good. It makes you think. It's just like a well put together game that you can play in like these little short spurts. And I have it on my phone and I have it on my Steam Deck, and I've been playing the crap out of it on both, even though it doesn't have cross progression. But it's really good, and it's like pretty cheap. It's like $10 on mobile and 15 on Steam. So I've enjoyed that. I also downloaded Tunic a long time ago. I don't remember when it was recommended to me, but it was on sale, and so I bought it and I downloaded it to my Steam Deck. And whenever I was going to Portland, I had only brought my Steam Deck. I didn't bring my Switch, even though I've been playing another game that I'm going to talk about in a minute. And I opened it thinking I was going to play some Street Fighter 6 or some other game that I just bought on the Steam sale, and they didn't download. And so my options were I could play like Death Stranding or like Mega Man Battle Network or something, or I could play this Tunic game that I didn't really know what it was, but I knew it was like an isometric Zelda game or Zelda-like game. And I started playing it, and my God, it feels like a Zelda game. And it's beautiful, nice. And you play as this little fox wearing a green tunic. Go figure. And
adorable.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to unlock your sword, you have to unlock a shield, you have to unlock the ability to use magic and to use bombs. It is legitimately like a Zelda game, and it's super, super well done. And I've really enjoyed it so far. It's pretty short, so I'm probably going to beat it soon.
Oh, cool.
But because I played on the plane, I didn't have any guides or anything, and there's something so special about playing a game like a Zelda-like, where you have to just like screw around and figure out stuff for yourself. Like you throw a bomb at a wall that has a flower on it and it explodes and you're like, oh my god, I'm in.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that. I've also been playing Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I got the remake for the Switch.
Goat.
Have you ever played it?
Nope.
Really?
Still the goat.
Still the goat. It's so
Still the
good.
goat. I believe in it. It's one of those games I haven't played, but I believe in it. I've seen what it's about, and I get it, and I will eventually play it.
I
But
played it as a kid, and oh my god, it is so good. Even still, it holds up. It's pretty much like a note for note remake of the game.
Mhm.
It's a remaster more than anything. And I mean, they even just called it Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. They didn't change the name or add a deluxe or anything. And I've really enjoyed getting back to it and like playing it again after playing it as a kid, and it's almost the same as it was on the GameCube. Just looks a whole lot nicer.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Can you play it on a Steam Deck?
I wish. Nintendo. Gosh darn. I mean, you
Nintendo.
could. You could actually. I mean, you could get the GameCube game and have an emulator. But
Have you seen Have you seen those Kratos memes where it's like Kratos crying out to the sky, and then and the meme is like, Nintendo allow Switch games to be played on the Steam Deck, and my life is yours.
I don't think it'll ever happen. They make too much money off the Switch.
But one day.
One day. And I'm still playing Hades 2. They keep coming out with updates. It's still in beta, but it's getting much closer to being done. They came out with this whole new area that you can go get to, and I'm pretty good at Hades. Whenever I started the first one on my Steam Deck after playing on my Switch.
Deep. Pretty good.
Pretty good. I beat it. This is like my gaming achievement that I beat the original Hades. I didn't have any upgrades or anything. I just beat it. The first time I played, I beat it, quote unquote. But like I beat Hades on my first run whenever I didn't have any power ups or anything, and I thought that was pretty cool.
And the second one is just a lot more of the first one, but even better.
It's very different. The first one, you have like physical weapons, swords, knives, whatever. And in Hades 2, you're using magic. You're a witch. And so you're like still kind of going around and doing the same thing where you're trying to like get through a bunch of rooms, and it's the same premise. You get power-ups, the gods help you. The biggest difference is it's a little bit slower and a little bit more methodical. There's still a lot going on at the same time, but you just have to like think about it a little bit more, and I really like that.
Okay. Hades was one of the many games a part of the winter Steam sale, and so I picked up Hades.
Hades is probably my favorite game of all time. It is up there with
high praise.
It's up there probably with like Pokemon Emerald and Breath of the Wild, Halo 3. Like Hades is in that echelon for me.
Okay. I dig it.
Yeah.
I think I really like the art style of it. I think the character models all look really cool, and
all of the characters are so hot.
Yeah,
like that's the whole thing. Half of them are hot, and not
really
wearing
cool.
any clothes.
I haven't seen.
Thirsty nerds.
Oh my god, I haven't. I mean, the ones I've seen are fully clothed. I think.
You just wait.
But yeah, it's like a game I'm willing to give the old college try on. I'm not a huge roguelike person, but
I wasn't.
I want to give this game a fair shot. Like I know it's like one of the best in like the last handful of years.
I was not a big roguelike person, and I'm trying to think, how am I forgetting the name of the game that got me into it? Wow. Oh, this is so Dead Cells. Dead Cells got me into it.
I knew it. I was going to call it.
Yeah.
I really was.
Dead Cells and The Binding of Isaac, I kind of got into at the same time, and all of a sudden I
didn't know The Binding of Isaac was a roguelike.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Also, like $2 on the Steam sale right now, so would highly recommend as another option for you.
Okay.
You know, we are coming up on almost an hour and a half. So, with as far as our notes go, I just want to briefly talk about Japan because Chris, I think you and I would have such a good time. Like, you and me and maybe like a couple other friends doing just like a buddy trip to Japan.
Oh my god, that's all I want
Dude.
in life at this point
It'd be awesome.
in my life is to leave it all behind and to just move there with you guys.
Oh, Catherine and I talked about it. We talked about buying a house. It is obscene. It is so much fun. So easy to get around. The food was like the most incredible food you could ever eat. The ramen was awesome. We had udon. We had 2 like omakase tasting menus where we got Michelin stars, and it was like a third of the price that you would pay in the United States for it. So that was all amazing. I went to a bunch of Pokemon centers while I was there, and I got a bunch of plushies. And actually, if you're watching the video, you can see a couple of them behind me. I have Shiny Rayquaza and Swampert hanging out with me in here, but I have a bunch more that I got there. I have Pikachu in every Pokemon center that we went to.
I don't see it.
Yeah, we can't see each other. Recording video. This is the challenge, Chris. But went to every Pokemon center, bought a bunch of Pokemon cards. I also have like some boxes because I'm starting like a Pokemon Instagram channel where I'm gonna like open cards. So I have like boxes of 30 packs of Japanese Pokemon cards that I'm really excited to like open and get into. And yeah, that was all amazing. I also went to Tokyo Disney while I was there, and it was mind-blowing how beautiful.
What's that Tokyo Disney? Like,
yeah.
or what were the primary, I guess, attractions that you saw?
We initially were just going to go to Tokyo Disney Sea, which is considered like the most beautiful theme park in the world, or up there is one of the best for a lot of people.
Okay.
But we actually, the day before, went to Tokyo Disneyland, which was great. We got to go on like Splash Mountain and the Star Wars. They have like the Star Tours ride that they have in the United States too. And we went on a couple others there too. We went on Peter Pan. We saw a parade, and that was fun. But Disney Sea was mind blowing. They have like a Journey to the Center of the Earth ride where you get in like this drilling machine and you go and you like drill down to the center of the Earth and you see all these monsters. It's based off of the what is it, Jules Verne story?
I'm not familiar with it. I was gonna guess Atlantis.
Yeah, Jules Verne wrote... What else did he write? Journey to the Center of the Earth, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Around the World in 80 Days. You would know. You would know.
Okay.
That was fun. And there were a couple others that were like super good. I mean, they had Soarin', which is always really good. But the big draw of Tokyo Disney Sea right now is this place called Fantasy Springs. And you go in and you are... you have to like... reserve it whenever you get in and try really hard and refresh. I was refreshing all morning trying to get tickets to the Frozen ride, to the Rapunzel ride, and to the Peter Pan ride.
Oh, okay.
And they have these lands that are themed after like Skull Island in Peter Pan, or like Arendelle, I don't know how you say it, in Frozen. And you go in there and they're some of the best rides ever created. It's like a 3D Peter Pan ride where you're like flying with Peter Pan, and it's like you're flying through Neverland. And there's a boat ride for Frozen where you're just like going through the movie and you're like seeing some of the best animatronics ever. It was so stinking good.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Hot damn.
And there's also like, we did karaoke twice, did a sake tasting and got drunk with our host, and he brought us to karaoke. I bought a bunch of Japanese video games too. I bought like Super Smash Brothers in Japanese, and like some...
the N64 one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I bought a Japanese Wario game. What else did I get? I got Pokemon Omega Ruby in Japanese, and I have like consoles that I can play them on. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So yeah, it was really good. I think I think we would have a blast going with as a group of friends, but I went on my honeymoon and it was like the perfect place to go on a honeymoon.
Yeah, that would be a dream. To go on your honeymoon and or to go as a group of friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely down. I would love to take a trip out there.
Yeah.
That's like in terms of like a big on like my big to-do list, things that require a lot of effort and planning. That's pretty high up there.
As a vegetarian, what do you think you would eat in Japan?
That's a great question. I would have to imagine there's a lot of tofu options.
Yeah.
But I will also eat fish from time to time.
Yeah.
It's like my exception to like the vegetarian rule. Typically, on like a day-to-day basis, I won't eat meat or fish. But I would probably make an exception for fish.
Cool.
On the if we were to make a trip out there.
Amazing. Play Sound takes Japan, baby. Let's go.
Woo! PSJ.
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 So before we get into our recommendations, I do want to talk about one more thing that I alluded to earlier. I've recently gotten back into collecting Pokemon cards. And by recently, I mean whenever you and I were living together in Dallas back in like 2018. And I've ebbed and flowed into being really into it and kind of not. But right now, with the lull in there being no new Pokemon games for a significant amount of time, I've gotten back into collecting Pokemon cards. I actually just a few months ago went to the Pokemon Collecticon in Chicago, and I got to see like the hype of it right now, and it is insane how many people are buying Pokemon cards and collecting them, and how difficult it is to find them. So I just wanted to bring this up as a note that the sets that people care about, like there's a couple right now that people are like not that interested in. Stellar Crown is a really good example where people don't love it. But there are like Surging Sparks. There's a Pikachu card in it that everybody wants, and so it sells out immediately. Like there are people who will camp out in front of a Target if they know that Target is getting a shipment in the morning, and they'll go and they'll wait by the card aisle, and then they'll buy all of it, every single thing that comes in, because they know that they can immediately turn around and bring it from a Target or a Walmart or a Best Buy, and they can sell it to a local card store and make like 2 times a profit just from a couple hours of work, and it sucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then the card store, has to turn a profit on their end, so they jack up the price.
There are packs that are selling for like $10 that you can, if you go into a Target, you get it for $5. If you go into a card store, you can get it for $10, but you just can't find them anywhere, and it's really disappointing. So, wanted to bring that up because it's been a big part of what I'm doing. I'm launching an Instagram channel where I open Pokemon card packs because I love them, not because it's like an investment. And
the wet cards.
What?
Everything you do in the brand is just it's just
wet
like,
cards, wet sock cards.
Wet. It's just wet.
Oh God.
That's your channel, the wet cards.
I think people will buy wet cards.
I would buy wet cards.
I would imagine they would. Chris, what are your thoughts on Pokemon cards? You haven't really been into it, so I'm curious from an outside perspective what you think.
No, it's something it's something that it just seems like a big, like, I guess dollar investment if I wanted to get back into it, and I don't have a whole lot of interest. I think that there would be certain cards, I think, just from like a collector standpoint, I wouldn't have a whole lot of interest in playing like the game part of it, but I would be interested in like collecting like a Charizard EX card, or I think I saw one recently where it's got Latios and Latios on the same card, and I was like, oh, that's one of the coolest cards I've ever seen. I think the designs on cards, just graphically and like the imagery have come so far in since the time that we were collecting them as kids. I think some of the card designs I've seen just look drop dead gorgeous. And so I think, again, just from a collector standpoint, I saw like the Latios card, and I was like, oh man, that would be pretty.
Thousands of dollars now.
Oh, I can imagine. But I'm like, oh yeah, like that would be pretty cool to have that. But at the same time, it's like, not every pack is gonna have that, or not every card is gonna have, or not every pack is gonna have like your favorite Pokemon in them. It's just it's a big game of chance almost, and yeah, I mean, like I think it's a pretty cool thing, but just the interest for me isn't where it would need to be for me to get back into it.
Yeah, that card you're talking about, Latios and Latios, right now, if it's in good shape, not even graded, if it's just like a card that's in good shape, it's $2,000.
Dang. Yeah,
Piece of cardboard, man. Crazy.
It's a piece of cardboard, but I mean, it's sick. It looks dope. And yeah, I mean, again, just be a really cool card to own. But yeah,
Awesome.
Pretty cool stuff though.
So let's get into some recommendations. Talk about some things that we would recommend to people who have stuck around this long and want to hear what they should play, listen to, or otherwise.
Boom. I'll go first.
Sure.
Question mark?
Hit it.
I kind of had some written down, and then I closed that tab, and I can't bring it back up because I don't want to talk about it. But my recommendations. I've been listening to a lot of Third Eye Blind recently, and so I would recommend Third Eye Blind. I watched the movie My Old Ass, which I think has been out for a while now, with Aubrey Plaza and it stars a younger actress whose name I'm not too familiar with, but it was a great movie. It's 89 minutes. I mean, if you can watch a movie that's under 2 hours these days, absolutely do it. I mean, just all bang for your buck. It's just 89 minutes. It's not even an hour and a half.
Whew.
I had a few drinks the other night, and I was like, what's a really short movie that will hold my attention span, my dumb drunk attention span? And My Old Ass was it. That movie slapped. And hit me right in the feels.
They don't make them like that anymore.
They don't make them like that anymore. All these movies nowadays have to be like 3 hours for it to be any good. It's like, what? No. So that's a band wreck. That's a movie wreck. What else?
Silent Hill 2 was your last one.
Oh, is Silent Hill 2 on there? Silent Hill 2 is on there. It's not like a full wreck yet. Like, again, I'm still waiting on that game to hit me with the oh shit moment. There's like a small oh shit moment I've had with it, but I want the big one. But I'm almost done with the fourth major arc of One Piece, like the TV series, not the manga. So I'm on episode like 315 out of 325, and once I finish that, it's the Water 7 arc. I'll probably take a bit of a break from it, but the Water 7 arc's been great, and I'm really really excited to finish it out. So big One Piece wreck. But I think that does it for me.
I love that.
What about you? Big Rex. Coming up.
Big Rex coming up. I'm gonna recommend Tunic because again, it's just like this joyful game. You kind of look like you're looking down over this like set of miniatures in this isometric view. It's blurred on the sides, but it's like this beautiful Zelda-like game. And I cannot recommend it enough. I've been so surprised at how not just mysterious, but also just how like joyful it is at the same time. And it's just a really beautifully like scenarioed game. So I would recommend that. I also just watched through Interior Chinatown on Hulu. And the whole premise is it's like, what if you took a background character in an episode of Law and Order SVU and made a TV show about them and him wanting to be important? And I think that is awesome. And that's the most I'm going to say about it because it gets so weird and so good. And there's like some weird magic shit happening with it. And it's just like, dang, it's awesome.
Dang.
So would highly recommend that. It's not very long. I think it's like 10 or 11 episodes, if that. And then I would also recommend Doechii, the rap artist who's like blowing up right now with an album called Alligator Bites Never Heal. It's awesome. The song Nissan Altima. Chris, was telling me that he listened to it earlier, and like maybe not the thing that he would listen to if he was just hanging out at home on his own, but it's good. I don't usually like rap, so my recommendation would definitely be that. So yeah, that's the podcast.
Hot damn, hot Rex.
Any closing thoughts, Chris?
I am so tired.
You go get to bed. Send me your video. I'm going to get this up, and we're going to have a great time doing the podcast through 2025.
2025. What season is this for us? 47?
Something crazy. I mean, who knows?
Season 47.
Who knows? But now that we live in separate cities again, we're going to catch up more often, do this podcast on like a weekly basis, so it's not going to be 2 hours long. But man, did we have a lot to talk about this week.
Maybe bi-weekly.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't.
Is my Google Calendar for weekly invites?
Or
weekly podcast?
Couldn't tell you. But whatever it is,
gosh.
Chris, we're doing it.
Wet socks. For life.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Play Sound Podcast. You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, I don't know, wherever else you want to go, at either Most Likely Joe or my band at Weird Heist.
Hot dang. And you can find me at places as CJ Darkangelo. I'm on Blue Sky. I've just started posting again there in the last couple of days. And I'm also on the Instagram, and I'm also on the Twitch sometimes.
On Twitch sometimes, but it was great while you were doing
anyways. Yeah, follow me anyways. Maybe I'll start streaming again.
Yeah. I do got to say I've also been posting on Blue Sky, but I've been shit posting like it's 2008.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been great.
Lit.
Die lit. All right. Well, I'm building a little mini Lego Dragonite right now, and I fucked it up real bad a few days ago, so I'm gonna go finish that and see if I can fix this.
All right, sounds good.
All right, buddy.
Have a good one. Take care.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Play Sound Podcast. Deuces.